Fair enough. But the man is a fake, okay? Do not buy the wolf tickets.
They're selling y'all wolf tickets, people. You're eating them right up.
Do not accept the bullshit.
Jake Paul is having a total meltdown after boxing experts have shredded him live. The problem child is officially in hot water. The jig is up. It seems like everyone in the boxing world has turned their backs on him. From legendary boxers to top-tier trainers, they're all calling him out for being a fraud. Even his own brother, Logan, seems to be distancing himself. Ouch. The voice of combat sports, Joe Rogan, labeled Jake a fraud. Jake Paul is in full meltdown mode as the entire fight world has unleashed a verbal smackdown on him. This guy's career is going downhill faster than a snowball in hell. Remember when everyone thought he was the next big thing? Yeah, that was a good laugh. The truth is, the boxing world has seen through his BS and they're not holding back. From seasoned pros to legendary boxers, everyone's taking shots at Jake. It's like the entire boxing community has formed a roast battle club with Jake as the main target. The Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul matchup has the whole fight world talking. Yeah, Jake has been in the spotlight ever since this matchup was announced, and while he's been enjoying all the attention, it's starting to take a twist and a toll on the athlete's mental health. The fight world is sharing their take on the fight, and let's just say, they don't have the nicest words to say about it.
And I honestly just think it's sad, bro. I think it's super sad. I don't know why Jake took it. It's a lose-lose. Literally, he knocks out Mike Tyson and he's beaten an OAP.
The boxing community has been concerned that Jake has bitten off more than he can chew. Don't get me wrong, I know the guy has been rising the boxing ladder and making his way up there. Love him or hate him, this guy has had some real knockouts in the ring. His fights with Ben Askren, Anderson Silva, and Tyron Woodley are proof that he isn't just a YouTuber putting on gloves for fun. Jake knows what he's doing in the ring. But does knocking down a retired NBA player like Nate Robinson make you good enough to fight the best boxer of all time?
You're distinctly average, but that is a compliment.
So, but none of your...
Eddie Hearn has been the man pulling all the strings and making some of the biggest boxing fights we've ever seen. So the fight world doesn't take his words with grains of salt. This boxing promoter believes that Paul is still pretty average and nowhere on the level to not only beat Mike Tyson, but even fight him. Jake's recent training footage is only giving Eddie's words more weight. Take a look for yourself.
This Jake Paul keeps mentioning your name. He says he's going to knock you out if he runs across you in Vegas. So are you tuning in and cheering for Tyron tomorrow?
It actually makes sense. I'm 52 years old. I'm in the age bracket of guys he fights. So, yeah, I could see him wanting to fight me.
Let's talk about Dana White, the UFC president who's having an absolute field day roasting Jake Paul. This guy has been on Jake's case since day one, and it's hilarious. Dana's been calling Jake out for only fighting old and retired guys. He's saying that Jake's afraid to face real competition. Jake's opponents are like a who's who of washed-up celebrities and retired fighters. Where's the challenge in that? It's clear that Dana sees right through Jake's act. He knows that Jake's whole boxing career is one big scripted reality show. But when it comes to real fighting skills, Jake's nowhere near the level of a real boxer. I mean, let's talk about his fight with Tommy Fury for a second. Fury's the only seasoned professional Paul has ever put up gloves against, and he's the one who handed Jake's butt back to him. The former Disney star was handed the first loss of his career right there, and then the moment he stepped up to fight pro.
He's not even a boxer, but okay. He hasn't got a pair of balls, and that's what you need in this game. He hasn't got them, and that's why he hasn't got in the ring with me yet. He can say what he wants about all this, oh yeah, you're not big enough to do it. He fought Ben Askren, didn't he?
Jake Paul was set to fight Mike Tyson in the ring on July 20th at the AT&T Arena. This highly anticipated bout fell into jeopardy and had to be called off due to Mike's health hiccup. I want to thank my fans around the world for their support and understanding during this time. Unfortunately, due to my ulcer flare-up, I have been advised by my doctor to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover. My body is in better overall shape than it has been since the 1990s, and I will be back to my full training schedule soon. Jake Paul, this may have bought you some time, but in the end, you will still be knocked out and out of boxing for good. I appreciate everyone's patience and can't wait to deliver an unforgettable performance later this year. What Paul said next rubbed the entire fight world the wrong way. The problem child said, "I'm certain I'm going to win," he said. "I'm gonna fuck him up." Jake's claims didn't sit well with fight fans online as they hit out at the YouTuber turned boxer, especially considering Tyson's recent scare. As for Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, you can hold your breath because this one has been rescheduled for November 15th. It's almost as if the boxing community is counting the days to Paul's funeral in the ring because Mike won't be nice to him.
Mike Tyson all the way.
Pros are putting all their eggs in Mike's basket, and why wouldn't they? It's freaking Mike Tyson after all. Yes, he's pushing 60s now, but he's still the man who chewed off his opponent's ear in the ring. I won't be surprised if I see Paul walking out of the ring with one ear instead of two. The problem child has been poking the bear ever since this fight was announced, and an angry Mike Tyson isn't a man you'd want to mess with because he fires back. Nah, he's not going to pull a Paul and take verbal jabs. This man saves it all for fight night. He's going to make Jake regret every single comment he's made on the boxing legend so far.
I hope Mike Tyson knocks Jake Paul out the first time he swings at him. And I think he's going to. Like, I don't think, like, you can fight all these guys. Like, I don't care if Mike Tyson's 112 years old. Like, this cat's different. But we'll see, Jan. We'll see.
Current odds are plus 150 for Tyson, minus 140 for Jake Paul.
I can get Mike Tyson at plus money in a boxing match.
This fight was terrible for Paul as it is, but the YouTuber turned boxer has somehow managed to make it worse.
Goes back to, like, people just, like, attacking Jake Paul and, like, wanting to see me fail.
Jake Paul is officially losing it. The guy who used to run his mouth is now crying like a baby. Can you believe it? The whole boxing world is turning on him, and he's acting like a victim. Is this the end of influencer boxing as a whole, or it's just the Jake Paul hype train taking a hit? Well, it's most likely just the latter. Jake made a grave mistake canceling his fight with Tyson and throwing Mike's health under the bus. Even worse, the Paul brother just announced a new fight in place of his Mike Tyson bout, and he just gave the internet another chance to clown him. So who's this new guy? Well, ever heard of Mike Perry? Unlike Jake's classic taste in opponents, this dude is neither old nor retired. He's actually an athlete in his prime, so Jake might actually be proving something this time. Now, his experience isn't in pro boxing, but Platinum Perry is still a seasoned professional. He began his fight journey as an MMA star in the UFC and had an impressive record of 14-8-0.
Mike Perry is a fighter. Mike Perry wasn't necessarily the best jiu-jitsu artist or had the best wrestling, but there's not a fight that Mike Perry won't take. I've spoken to Mike Perry on several occasions, and he is the epitome of a real fighter, and he's an absolute star in the bare knuckle.
Mike Perry is a fighter. Mike Perry wasn't necessarily the best jiu-jitsu artist or had the best wrestling, but there's not a fight Mike Perry won't take. He is the epitome of a real fighter. He's an absolute star in the bare knuckle organization.
Jake Paul, I think he's made a tremendous mistake here because he's a real fighter. He's going to get in shape. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he's going to go right at Jake.
Jake Paul, I think he's made a tremendous mistake here because Perry is a real fighter. He's going to get in shape. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he's going to go right at Jake Paul. Sean O'Malley has shared his take on the upcoming fight, and he believes it's going to be a tough one.
Versus Jake Paul, I think it's more of a competitive match. I think Tyson was just a little bit too, aged, weathered. But I think Mike Perry versus Jake Paul is a very, very interesting, very competitive fight. I think it would be the most competitive fight Jake's had outside of the Tommy Fury fight. I would be very interested to seeing it, and I'm excited to see it. I think it's actually happening July 20th, and I don't know where, but I want to go. I think, God dang it, that's actually a tough fight to predict because Mike's in it, but he's in bare knuckle. It is a different sport, different size space to fight it, different range. It's it's very similar but very different. Jake's been boxing. Mike's been bare knuckle boxing.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. So there you have it, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. What are your thoughts on the boxing experts turning against Jake Paul? Make sure to fill the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.